It goes there. And we're going to go live on here. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Real Talk. Hello. Welcome to Real Talk. I'm Pastor Deb. And tonight I'm here with Penny.
Hi.
Penny Penny has a lot of hats. First of all, I know Penny because she's my hairstylist and she needs to do a better job because I need to go to her. So we were just talking about that. It's been a long time since I had my hair done. So it's
4
time.
months.
Oh, she's counting.
Mm-hmm.
So she's counting. But anyway, so tonight, Penny is also one of our worship leaders on Worship on the Farm. And Penny has graciously offered to share her story with us. So once again, just like every other time, guys, hi, Wessa. Put your name in the comments. Let us know you're here. Let us know where you're from. And we are going to really be talking about running on empty tonight. This has been a series that we've been doing all of January and now into February. But it's a series that I'm really finding that a lot of people are running on empty. You know, if you're running on empty tonight and you don't know exactly where God's leading you, you don't exactly know why you're at where you're at, maybe even, stick around because every day or every time. Hi, Kathy.
Hi.
But we have stories. So Penny's going to share her story with us.
Yep.
Her faith story. And so as we go on, like I said, say hello in the comments, share the video. Let's get some more people on here. And then at the end of our time, we're going to have a prayer time. So in about 20 minutes, we're going to have a prayer time. So tonight, guys, right now, share the video. And then we're going to get started. So the first thing that we're going to do, like I said, first of all, put your name in the comments, say hello, and then we're going to do prayers afterwards. So, but as we're going on, and we've been talking about running on empty, and we talked about different scriptural people running on empty, but I think in real life, in this real talk, for me, it is hearing the stories of the people. I know for me, at times I run on empty and it's just like, and sometimes we just run on overdrive.
Yeah.
And as we run on overdrive, it gets really exhausting. Have you guys ever been exhausted?
We're on cruise control.
On cruise control. Yeah. But that does get exhausting. I mean,
sure does.
but you still kind of, so on this, once again, are you running on empty? Because if you're running on empty, I think that there's a lot of things that we can do and talk about. So I want to hear, there's different ways, spiritually, financially, emotionally, health-wise, relationships. Can you identify with any of them?
I can identify with all of them. I mean, I've been empty quite a few times in my life. Spiritually, I've had ups and downs where we're made to wander. And God brings us back as many times as we need to.
Right.
But, it's been shorter and shorter and shorter. But I remember I didn't talk to God or rely on God for years. I grew up Catholic. So I'd say I was forced Catholic, and I went to church every Sunday. It was, I did what I was supposed to do, but I didn't have a relationship with God. I didn't experience God's love until I was in my 20s.
And some people don't even. That's interesting. And how that's interesting.
Until I became a mom, I think was like the big thing for me. So between childhood, and then as like a young adult,
right,
I just went through the motions. I didn't know God, and so I was pretty empty. And then I had a kid of my own. And then I started thinking about like, how much does God love me? Like, I know how much I love my son,
right.
And so then that became important to grow my faith so that my son, we all want our kids to have a relationship of some sort with God.
Right.
So that was very important to me. And I think that was kind of the kick in the pants. And
then your parents get smart because they did take you to church for a reason.
They did, yeah.
So you did have that. So
I did. I had the foundation, but I didn't know. I had a lot of dirt. I was, well, I was sexually abused at a young age. So I was introduced to sex really, really young. And I used that to my advantage. I was a dancer. I worked as an escort in Chicago. So why would God love me?
Right.
So much dirt, and that's not stuff you share with people. Like, because people, as general rule, what do? They're like, oh, you did that?
Mm-hmm.
I did drugs. Because of what I went through when I was little, that was a stepping stone. And so then I sought comfort in validation
Right.
from people.
Right.
Instead of God.
Right. And I think that a lot of people are probably identifying with that story, and it's interesting to me. So, but it's interesting to me on how many people, especially that you hear now, were sexually abused, were molested, were having all of those things in their lives, and it was quiet. It was
you
didn't talk about it. But then, now you're saying that, and that just triggered this path of things. But then God said, hey, wait a minute, Penny. Woo-hoo! I'm still here.
Yep.
I still love you.
Yep.
Regardless of what mess that your life is in, I love you.
Right. Yeah, and
he gave you a child.
He gave me 2 beautiful children that were miracles.
2 beautiful miracles. That's awesome. That is awesome.
I lost 3 in between them and almost lost both of them. So,
oh my goodness,
they are my miracle babies.
Wow. Wow. So spiritually, that's huge. Emotionally, that's really huge. Yep. And so how old are your kiddos now?
17 and 10.
17. So you're not a very smart mama right now.
No, I don't know. I know nothing.
How many of you have teenagers? That is the thing is that Sheila said that she was 2. So
yeah.
But like I said, there's a lot of people on that have that. Hi Marge. Hi Mom.
Thanks, Sheila.
But like I said, I think that there are so many things, so many stories for us to tell. So spiritually, you came back to God. I did. You realized that God still loved you even after all of the mess and the
dirt.
The dirt.
It's just dirt, is what it is. And what do we grow from dirt? We grow flowers, beautiful flowers,
beautiful seeds.
Yep. And mustard seed is all it takes. So,
you found it.
I found it. And that's every once in a while, the devil will try to get you. He'll say, you're not good enough, or, you did this and shame on you. And, he's a liar.
Yeah.
But every once in a while, especially like if you're going through financial stuff or spiritual stuff, he's waiting. Yeah. And I think the closer that we get to God, the harder the devil has to fight.
And the harder he fights. And the harder he fights. If you do not believe that the devil is alive and well in this world, you are sadly mistaken. It is absolutely crazy. And so as that, so this emotional, okay, I want to touch on that a little bit, because I think a lot of people can identify with being sexually abused as a child, and emotionally as an adult. Do you still struggle with that, or is that something that you just kind of?
Not anymore. I did before I told my mom. I was a mom already.
So your mom didn't know it happened. No. Okay.
I never told my mom until I was like 24.
Wow. So you held it in until then.
Me.
You held that in until then. So maybe the dirt that was there was just being pounded.
Well, it was
pounded
just
pounded
it was
pounded
because up and down, and a continuous. So when you grow up in chaos, like I did, my mom was abused by her second husband. Like, he beat her really bad, and we watched. He beat my brothers. When you grow up in chaos, that's all you know.
So it wasn't just sexual abuse. You witnessed physical abuse, and in that physical abuse and sexual abuse is emotional abuse.
Yeah.
And we live in a very crazy world, guys. And the thing is that this is not uncommon.
No, it's very common, but people don't talk about it.
Right. This is not a conversation that you're going to have with every Tom, Dick, and Harry that you run into,
Right.
and you're not going to say, "Hey, guess what happened to me?" You know,
look at me, I was abused.
yeah, right, right. But and like I said, so as we're going on here, I want to come over this. So, Wessa or Sheila, God has forgiven all your transgressions, and the devil has no power. And Wessa, no matter what mess your life is in, God still loves you. Guys, this is so true. It is so, so true. So remember that. And Sheila said sexually, emotionally, physical abuse here too. And I am so sorry to hear that, guys. There are so many people who are abused in this world and misused in this world. And it is so sad. It is so sad. But God has still got you. He's covering you with all of his grace. And even though it doesn't feel it at times, you know, realizing that he never left you.
Right. Well, and I think one of the things that we can do is God allows us to use our stories to minister to other people. It makes us uniquely qualified to help people that have been through what we've been through.
Right.
You know, I'm not going to go to a counselor and take advice from somebody that never been through it.
Right.
You know, yeah, they can give me a doctor's advice, you know, like that. But the raw emotion that comes with being abused, whether it's sexual, physical, all that stuff, if you don't have somebody that knows what they're talking about with it, like what to expect,
right,
they're not really going to help you as much as you want, if that makes sense.
Right. Yep. And I think it makes total sense. And so Sheila on here, if you guys missed, this is Penny. Penny is one of our worship leaders at Worship on the Farm. She's also my hairstylist, and she does a great job at a little bitty shop down at the little bitty schoolhouse. So that's awesome in our real little area. But Trey didn't want me to use my story, but I believe the same. We must use our stories to help others feel not alone. Mm-hmm. This is where we go back to, guys, and this is where this is so important, because as we are sharing our faith stories, we have to share our stories. We have to share our faith stories. So as you're doing that, it's about trust.
Yep.
And right now, this is a safe space. This is real talk. This is a safe space. And that's why I really appreciate you coming, Penny, because this is a very it's a very sensitive topic, you know, for a lot of people. But it is, we have to trust, and that God's love is there with us in all of this, and that God's going to still bless us, and he's going to show his grace for us. And remember, his grace is God's love that we have not earned.
Right. But he gives it to us.
He gives it to us anyway. Yeah. And, you know, we don't deserve it.
No, we don't.
But he gives it to us anyway. And so that's kind of what your story is about, is that grace that God gave you when Camden was born.
Yeah.
And he said, hey, wait a minute. I have another plan for you. I have another path. And so we were talking about open doors on our trip.
Yeah.
Camden was an open door.
Camden was a huge open door. And I was not the best mom. I was really young. I was 21 when I had him. So I still had a lot of growing to do, but I, you know, did the best that I could do as a single mom, and I had help, but yeah, it took a long time, and I made many, many mistakes, and thank God for grace, because I needed it. I mean, we all need it every day.
Right,
you know,
right. Yep, we all need it every day. So on there, if you guys have any questions, Penny is pretty open, she said, to answering and being honest about it. So if you have questions on here, let us know. And Sheila Roseanne said that you're not alone, and hugs to you. And Judy, wow, so many hurting as I have been, but God showed me how to look at the little things that I enjoy and still see the good in life.
Yeah.
And that's the beautiful part, is when we do Worship on the Farm, Penny is up there singing God's praises, and she's worshiping God, and she's not saying, why did you do this to me? And why did you allow this to happen to me? Because it also, so from that, you know, just maybe loving your kids a little bit differently. And
I'm a mama bear.
Yeah. That's, and you know, and that is, it's important. And Wessa says, always trust God no matter the situation. And guys, are you trusting God? Are you trusting him that he's there?
Right.
no matter what you're going through, and you might be going in, maybe you're in the middle of a situation right now where you are being abused, where you are being physically, emotionally, sexually abused. And if you're in that situation, we are going to be praying for you tonight.
Yeah.
We're going to be praying for you tonight. There are some other people. And, and another thing too is, as we went through this, we talked about spiritually, we talked about emotionally, relationships.
Mm-hmm. I got a good one.
You got a good one.
I got a good one. I kissed a lot of frogs, but I found my prince.
Well, that's good. That's a good thing. So yeah, you. But it took a while.
It did. It took a while.
Were you in abusive relationships yourself?
Oh yeah, I grew up watching my mom get abused. That kind of set the stage for like I said, when you grow up in chaos, when you don't have it, it's not normal.
Okay. Yep.
So you seek that. And so I picked not good partners. My son's, I call him a sperm donor, but his biological dad was abusive. A guy before, until I met my ex-husband, I was with not good men. And I was toxic because of what I went through and what I grew up with. So that's a big thing, I think, for growth, is looking inward and saying, yep, I have this issue. And so
those are huge points, though. I mean, to identify that yourself is just absolutely, that takes a lot of grace on your part for yourself, giving yourself grace, saying, hey, wait a minute, maybe there's more to this than what I'm seeing other people doing. Maybe,
it's a cycle. You have to break the cycle. And, the saying, nobody else can love you if you don't love you. It's true. Like, it is. And you have to do your homework on yourself and figure out who you are. And it took me doing that. And then I found Mike, or Mike found me, actually.
There you go.
And God put him in my path when I was not looking.
Because he's a real honey.
He is.
They take care of honeybees.
He takes care of honeybees, and he's a logger.
Then he's a logger. I think that is it. So, that's it. Sheila, you trust in God. I think that is the one thing that we can do and that we can count on.
Yep.
The one thing in this world that we can count on
is God.
Is God, and trusting in Him. And please reach out if you are being in that situation now. Pick up the phone. Try to find somebody to reach out to. Yeah. Like I said, we're going to be praying for you, but there are so many things that there is out there. There's help.
There's a lot of resources.
It is not you.
Nope.
This is the one thing that we have to know. If you're in that situation tonight, this is not you. It is not you that is doing
not what God
this.
has planned for you.
It is not. And thank you. And Marge, absolutely, prayers for the innocent children. There are so many innocent children and adults that are in abusive relationships. It is.
There's a lot of wicked, evil things going on in this world.
There are. And Sheila says, I love you, Penny. We would definitely click. I speak your language.
Thanks, Sheila.
I agree with that, Sheila. I think you guys would certainly click.
So one thing that I do want to say about trusting God is it's a choice. We make a choice.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's a hard choice. But when we get stuck in our cycles, right? Like, we all have cycles. We all go through it. It's a choice we make, just like it's a choice to be happy.
Right.
So like there's been times where I've been empty and I have to be like, okay, God, here I am. Like, this is me.
Right. And in that whole thing, making that choice, do you make it once?
I make it every day.
We make it every day.
I sometimes multiple times a day. Depends on my mood.
And then we say, "Oh, yeah, yeah." I think it's not just you; it's all of us.
No, it's everybody.
I think all of us are in that situation where we need to know that it is a choice. I love that you brought that up, because I think that is something that it is a choice that we say, God, I need you. And so I was talking to somebody the other day, and they're struggling and they are having issues with their health right now. But because of the issues with their health, it's messing with their emotions. It's messing with all of the other stuff. And they're crying and they were all upset. And I'm just like, you guys, breathe in. I told her, I said, just take a step and breathe in. God help me. And as you're breathing in, God help me. When you release that breath, also release all of the pain, the stress, the anxiety, all of those things. Give it to God. Put that there. And when you're breathing out, you're putting it at God's feet. Yeah. And I think that is amazing. Hi, Sharon. It's nice to have you here. And so, like I said, I think the thing is so spiritually, emotionally, financially. Have you ever struggled?
Oh, big time. I'm a small business owner in America. I grew up really poor. So I'm what they call the old poor. I'm not new poor. I'm old poor. I see all these trends about the new poor, and I'm old poor. Like I grew up, we lived.
I've never heard that.
Oh yeah. You'll have to look it up. I grew up, my mom was a single mom of 5 kids.
Okay.
So we grew up very, very, very poor. And so I never really wanted much. So I think for me, I live a very simple life. And I don't travel. I don't need all that stuff. But I've not that long ago, actually just a couple weeks ago, I had to borrow $20 from my ex-husband to get gas to get home. And the devil got me the next day. Well, and I'm also bipolar. So when I feel emotions, it's way up here. And so I was feeling like the biggest loser because I had to borrow $20 from my ex-husband. And I was like, what's the point? I'm doing all this work. And so, I mean, yeah, I have like a great faith story. And I'm very strong in my faith, but I struggle like everybody else does. And
me too.
Financially, I mean, I'm very blessed with Mike because he takes good care of me. But I'm very independent. And so
yes, she is.
I don't like asking for help.
Right.
But that's something that God has put on my heart is like, we're a team. So I have to kind of be codependent. But financially, I mean, there's just, recently I didn't have any money in my bank account. I was broke. And I didn't know where I was going to get money to get home. And had to eat crow and ask the ex-husband for $20 and I repaid him. But what's funny is as broke as I was 2 weeks ago, in 2 weeks, God blessed me financially. And now I am sitting comfortably. Business-wise, business picked up. I was able to pay off some debt. And so there's always a positive when you have a negative.
But you kept your faith through it all.
But I kept my faith.
You kept your faith through it all. So guys, as we're going on, and I think that this is it. Just remember, Sheila said that God is beside us, holding our hands and walking with us. And when we're down, he's carrying us. And you know what? I think, my favorite thing was the poem, The Footprints in the Sand.
Mm-hmm.
I always have loved that.
I have it at home.
But I think the thing is that we don't realize how many times that we're feeling like we're walking the storm alone, that God is carrying us, because there's no way that we would get through it. Sheila, her business is she's a hairdresser, and so
I own a small salon in a little bitty town.
In the country. She's in the country but it's great job. So anybody wants to do that, it's anybody needs to get their hair done, I can hook you up with Penny. So anyway, but like I said, so it's time for prayer requests, guys. So put your prayer requests in the comments. I want to pray for my Aunt Pat tonight, who is having some health issues, and her daughter Lori, who is also just struggling a little bit. Prayers for my mom and all her caregivers. And so prayers for those. And so if you have any other prayer requests, do you have any prayer requests?
I want to pray for, again, like I always say, the kids. Our kids are being attacked all the time with social media, social media content, just all the stuff they see on TV. And I really want to pray for our kids, whether they're little bitty or into their 20s, people my age. I'm 38 and he's out there, he's trying.
Yeah, I think that, hi, Carson. It's nice to have you here. So any other prayer requests, guys? Sheila is asking for prayers for her husband, Troy, and Shannon, her little mustard seed, and prayers for her healing. And I don't see Wessa on tonight, but we'll pray for Wessa and her family.
Yeah.
And
She just said.
oh, there you are. I do see you, honey. I'm sorry I missed you. And so, yep, there you are. Prayers for you and your family. And Kathy is asking for prayers for anyone who has been abused. Guys, this is a topic, and I want to thank you so
You're
much for
welcome.
sharing your story, because it's not an easy story to tell. It's not an easy story to share.
This is probably the first time I've made it through it without tears.
Well, I'm proud of you.
Yeah. Well,
I'm proud of
I
you.
feel like it's it's like I said, God has made me uniquely qualified to share my story and minister to other people. So, you're not alone. If you're going through it, there's people that'll help you.
And if you are going through any kind of abuse tonight, reach out to us, and I'm going to hook you up with Penny.
Yeah.
We are not counselors. We are not anything. We are here with a listening ear and a love of God in our heart, and we can maybe help you find the right person to connect with. Maybe that's it. So, hi, Trudy. It's nice to have you. Prayers for Stefan Steb. Is that how you say that? Steve and his daughter, Krista. Both have some health issues right now. Absolutely. Prayers for Stefan and Krista. And Kathy is asking for prayers for Kristen Dyer. And Sharon says her heart is heavy for the children also for a long time. Absolutely. And guys, once again, and Sheila says prayers for the porch and the farm and Pastor Deb and Penny and the family. Thank you for that. And also prayers for mental health issues.
Yeah.
Guys, this is real. We have so many people, and this world is so filled right now. We are just overwhelmed. Bipolar, which you shared with us that you have, depression, mental health issues, personality disorders. We have so many people with so many. This is real. This is not something people are making up so they can stay in bed or be lazy. This isn't it. I just want you to know that we're going to be praying for that because and the world's not making it easier. And like I said, know that God's there with you. Know that you're not alone. And like I said, I think that there are so many people that we need to pray up and that we need to pray for. God hears our prayers. And like I said last night, he doesn't always answer them the way we want.
No.
He answers them the way we need.
Right. And sometimes you don't see it for a while.
For years.
Yeah.
Sometimes we cannot see God's answered prayers for years.
Yeah.
And
I think sometimes we get in our own way. A lot of times we get in our own way.
We get in God's way. We try to block God a lot. It's like, oh no, I'm not ready for that. Don't do that. Let's step back.
Well, I'm gonna do it my way. How does my way get me?
And your way doesn't get us our ways, not your ways. Our way doesn't get us very far, not your way. That was not nice. I didn't mean that.
Your way. I do a good job.
You do a great job. Yeah. Oh, let's move on. And Sheila, she needs prayers too. And Judy, you're right. It's not just women who are abused. Please pray for my friend Sam. He is being badly abused. Yeah. And he's so depressed. Guys, this is
that is a big problem, I think, in society, is that men are abused. 1 in 4 men are sexually assaulted every day. When you meet, so you have 4 men standing there, 1 of them has been sexually assaulted, but it's a stigma.
But they're also being physically abused.
Well, that too.
Yeah. And the thing is that we always make this that it's the guys that are doing the abusing.
It's
not true, guys. This is something that, and I think I would like to know the statistics on that. I think we should look that up. We should ask Alexa actually, because she's very smart. So, but it is time to kind of wrap up our time together in our prayers. So let's go to God. And then we'll come back. So let's go to God. Good evening, God. God, we are here. And I thank you for Penny. I thank you for giving her the wisdom and the being brave enough to share her story, God. So many people can identify with where she's coming from. God, I ask that you bless Penny, bless her financially, spiritually, emotionally, all of the in her relationship. God, be with her. Be with all of the people that we lifted up in prayer tonight and all of the unanswered or unspoken prayers. We need your help. We are in a bad, bad way, God. We need your help. Be with us, guide us, and lead us. And they all said, Amen. And they all said, Amen. So, guys, whether you joined us online, thank you for being here. I want you to know tonight that you are important. You are necessary. You are beautiful, and that you are loved. I love you. God loves you.
I love you.
Penny loves you. And like I said, know that we're here. If you want to reach out to us, please do. And like I said, if you haven't, I know I wish I would have had that 800 number on here for that. We will put that on our page.
Yeah.
We will stick that on TikTok. We'll put it on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Let's put it on there. You guys, let's start sharing that hotline. And because there are so many things out there that are happening, people need to know that there is help.
Yes.
That there is help available. And so thank you all very much. But like I said, have a great night. And I pray that this is one of the best sleeps you've ever had. And that you wake up tomorrow refreshed and knowing that you are important. Have a great night, everyone.
Bye,
Hope to see you
everybody.
tomorrow. And now just shut them off. We will